am so excited for this upcoming season of fantasy football and the Flair for the Gold Fantasy Football League. Now, I'm not going to be taking any questions today, unfortunately, but I just want to address a few things, and then I want to go team by team and do a preview of what this season has to offer. First of all, in my last promo, I put a challenge out there. I put a challenge out there in particular to... Now, I want to say a couple of things. As most of you know, when cut his promo, there were some threats made against me, and I sought to get a restraining order against him. And since then, we have spoken. We have cleared the air on some things, and we have come to an agreement, really an agreement to disagree. We are not friends, not partners in any way, still very competitive. But I want to give absolute props to, and the promo that he cut, it was outstanding. It has been watched over and over in my house, and it is a blueprint for what you can do. It was funny, and it was great, and all props to. I also want to congratulate on his first grandchild. That's always a happy time, and I'm hoping it doesn't distract him during this fantasy football season. I want to address something the Icon said. The Icon lumped the stud stable and team in with him in a sense, saying we were threatening to leave the league if more of the participants did not cut promos. I will say I'm totally, I do agree that right now there are three people, the Icon, the stud stable, and team. We're the only ones cutting promos. We're really trying to make this league outstanding. We're trying to get this league some exposure, some national exposure, not just in Asheboro, but nationwide. We want everybody to know that the Flair for the Gold Fantasy Football League is the premier league in the world. Not just America, the world. And so winning it last year was a huge accomplishment for myself and the other members of the stud stable. Now, we had our draft a little over a week ago, and I want to go team by team, okay? Because there's two ways you win a fantasy football league. Number one, you have an outstanding draft. Number two, you have key acquisitions during the year. Now, I'm not going to make any bones about it. Last year, I won the fantasy football league for two reasons. Number one, a late round sleeper in Arian Foster that everyone else overlooked. And number two, I picked up Michael Vick. Game over, season done. I'm the champ, whether you like it or love it. Here's the deal. Let's start with the number one pick. Jan loves the WNBA. Chase Smith. Number one pick of the whole draft, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. Even the leagues in Green Bay, Wisconsin, nobody picked Aaron Rodgers first. So, Chase, I question that. I also question second-round pick, tight end Antonio Gates. And Antonio Gates' mama didn't even pick him in the second round. Now, the rest of your draft is fairly balanced. You got some young players. I want to commend Chase Smith. Last two picks, defense and a kicker. That's what I like to see. We next go to the second pick of the draft, which happened to be with their first pick, about let it slip, picked Adrian Peterson. They have since traded Adrian Peterson to the commish, Bobby the Brain, for Andre Johnson. There were some other players involved, but that doesn't really matter. Adrian Peterson, great pick. His second round pick, Eli Manning. Let me tell you, Archie Manning is going to have more fantasy points than Eli this year. He also picked up Cam Newton. He also picked up Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's right. Team is carrying three quarterbacks. Not a chance. He does not have a chance. Third pick of the draft. I respect this guy for his pick because he took who I wanted in the first round. That's right. the MVP, the guy that led me to the title, Michael Vick. The Enforcer AA, Lee Bryan. Lee Brim. He gets Michael Vick in the first round and then decides to just completely lose his mind. Why do I say that? Because he drafted not one, and not two, but three tight ends. 3 tight ends. Can't play but one of them. He drafted 3 of them. He drafted 3 tight ends. I don't think I can stress that enough. Enforcer, you're done. 4th pick, Caleb Moses, Jericho Hollis. Great first 2 picks. He got Arian Foster, LaShawn McCoy. Matter of fact, Jericho Hollis, you had a fairly decent draft, and you waited to the late rounds to get your defense and your kicker. So I think you're going to have a fairly decent team. You got Josh Freeman as your quarterback. I think he's a good sleeper. Let's go on to the icon, Jam Patterson. Jam Patterson, you had a great draft. First 3 picks, Ray Rice, Maurice Jones-Drew, Matt Shaw. Great draft. You picked it. You did it. You had a great draft. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who you drafted. You're going to lose. You're going down. Because everybody knows by week 4, Jam Patterson won't care, won't be doing anything with fantasy football. Next is Stud Stable. I got a great team. It needs no introduction. You'll see what they do on the field. We'll let our plays speak for ourselves. Big Chief Wahoo, Scott Simmons. Had a fairly decent draft except for this. Kyle Orton's your quarterback. Kyle Orton is your quarterback. Kyle Orton is not even a good player in real life, much less a fantasy league. He also drafted Matthew Stafford, a couple of other guys, jabronis, I don't care. Scott, Big Chief Wahoo. Week number 1, I'm going to take you out. It's not even going to be close. Dakota Patterson, Tatanka. I don't know what he was thinking. In the 3rd round, he drafted Derek Mason, who I thought was in witness protection. I don't know. Derek Mason, I don't know how that happened. Dakota Patterson drafted 15 players. Only 2 of them were running backs. I don't know if that's a new strategy. I don't know if that's something the kids are trying. 2 running backs. Terrible. He may not win a game. Bobby the Brain, Michael Jernigan. Pick number 9. Pick Drew Brees in the 1st round. 2nd round pick, he got Andre Johnson. He proceeded to trade him for Adrian Peterson. So in a sense, he got Adrian Peterson in the 2nd round, which is the greatest steal of all time. He's got a pretty good team. I respect the fact he picked a kicker last. I don't respect the fact he drafted more than 1 tight end. He could have a pretty good team, but not good enough. Mr. Wonderful, Josh Moses. Got Chris Johnson in the 1st round. It's a great pick. But Matt Ryan in the 2nd. That may be a little bit of a stretch. The rest of your team, I don't know who half these people are. You drafted, I just don't know. You've got some good young players, and you got some players that ain't going to do jack. Next, let's move on to Flair's hair, Daniel Susskind. He got Tom Brady in the 1st round. He got Hakeem Nicks in the 2nd round. 2 good picks. And in the 3rd round, he drafted Peyton Manning. That's right. He picked 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time in the first 3 rounds, and it's not going to do him a lick of good in fantasy football. Daniel, I am sorry. I apologize. But you capped your terrible draft off with your last pick, Tim Tebow. So you got 3 quarterbacks. One of them got a broke neck, and one of them ain't going to play. In the final, I want to go to Mr. Mountain West. Now, Mr. Mountain West, you had a tremendous draft. Phillip Rivers, Derek McFadden, your first 2 picks. But why are you picking Green Bay's defense in the 8th round? I don't know. The fact of the matter is, boys, your teams are terrible. Absolutely terrible. And it is my goal to call each and every one of you out. See, if you go right now and you Google Stud Stable, we're listed. Our team is listed along with the original Stud Stable from wrestling. And my goal is when you Google stud stable, when you Google Heath Mullikin, boom, we're #1 on the page. And my goal is that I'm going to put out so many videos, I'm going to talk about you guys so much that when people Google your name, when they Google your team name, they're going to find a video of me walking up and down your spine. They're going to find a video of me telling it like it is and saying that we're going to win the title. We're going to be the champs yet again. There's nothing that anybody can do about it. So that's what you got to do. You got a choice to make. You already know your team's going to be terrible. You already know that. So you've got to decide, am I going to participate? Am I going to make some videos? Am I going to cut some promos and use the tags and the titles and search engine optimization and make my video and my team and my name #1 on Google? Or am I going to let Heath Mullikin do that for me? Or are you going to let the stud stable not only ruin you on the field, but ruin you on the internet? The choice is yours, boys. Jam laid it out last night, and I laid out here today. In front of God and everybody. Put your best stuff out there. What are you going to do? What are you going to say? I tell you what you're going to say. Nothing. You're going to sit there in your mom's basement. You're not going to cut a promo. You're not going to keep up with your team. And at the end of the year, you're just going to whine and complain and say, Go ahead and write it on that cup. Stud stable. That's all I got to say. Thanks for being here today.